So the UK, that is where modern age verification has originated from. It's actually not working in the UK, according to new studies. As we all know, age verification has always been implemented under the guise of protecting the kids. The UK started their whole movement recently where they were like, listen, we want to make sure that kids aren't seeing adult content on the internet, namely adult videos. So what they did was they forced the major adult video websites like The Hub to basically ask for age verification. And the goal was to, again, quote, protect the kids, right? But soon it turned into YouTube, Spotify, and pretty much any other type of medium that you can think of for social media. And the UK is handing out heavy fines for people who are not following the age verification thing, which proves that it was never about the kids. It was about them trying to make money and collect our information. But according to new studies, nearly half of the adult website users are still seeing that type of content with no age checks. So when the hub was forced to add age verification to certain states in the United States and in the UK, they basically made a statement saying, look, this is going to be a huge risk for identity theft. So many people can get their ID stolen if we end up getting hacked, as well as other social medias as well. And they also talked about the fact that people aren't going to stop consuming adult content if they want to. They're just going to stop going to this particular website. If they stop going to that particular website, they're going to go over to other websites that have much more illegal, dangerous, non-compliant content that kids can be exposed to. But they were making the argument, at least with them, they have like robust checks to make sure that the content on their website is legal, to make sure everything's okay, ethical. And they were making the point that a lot of these other websites are not going to be as safe as the hub in terms of making sure people can consume that type of content safely. Well, looks like they were right, because about half of people who went over to those other types of websites have access to adult contents without government mandated age checks, and a lot of them were not happy with the type of content that they were seeing. So since the law changed in July, 45% of 1,469 adults that were surveyed went to adult websites, have gone on websites without age checks to avoid submitting their personal information. And the research also showed that 29% of the people going on those websites had used a VPN to avoid age checks on websites that do require it. So they either went over to the hub and used a VPN to avoid it, or they didn't go over to the hub and went over to another website that doesn't require age verification, meaning they didn't even participate in the age verification, meaning that the age verification is not working. So a university professor was basically stating that these sites can expose people to harmful material, including illegal content depicting, I can't say those words, otherwise I'll get demonetized, but yeah. Even if you're not looking for it, you could encounter it, and that can have serious life-changing consequences. Now, obviously, if you were on the hub, your chance of seeing this type of content would be way lower, pretty much impossible, because as we discussed, the hub actually makes sure they do very good checks to make sure that that type of illegal content isn't on their website. So they did a survey on 3,700 adults in November in the UK, and the survey showed that 39% of people that had visited unregulated adult websites had reported seeing content that made them uncomfortable, and 40% have been put off visiting the same site again. So remember the stupid argument that the UK makes where they lie to us about making sure that it's for the kids. Even adults are going on other websites to avoid age verification, and they're seeing content that made them feel uncomfortable. Imagine how that type of content would make the kids feel. If kids want to see that type of stuff, they're going to go and see that type of stuff anyways if they know how to use a VPN or if they go to an unregulated website. And what they're going to be seeing is content that made adults uncomfortable, so you can only imagine how bad that content will make the kids feel. But again, as we talked about before, Ofcom and the UK in general, they don't give a shit about the kids. This isn't about the kids. They want money. They want to make excuses to fine people millions of pounds, as they've done before, as they fined the AVS group, which runs 18 adult websites, £1 million for not having strong enough age checks, plus £50,000 for failing to respond to information requests. Because they didn't respond, they got fined £50,000. What the hell? And Ofcom, as we've discussed before on this channel, these assholes, they are also trying to fine people in the United States and companies in the United States as well. Why the hell would United States companies follow the UK's law? It doesn't make any sense. Well, apparently a lot of states are actually following suit. As the hub pointed out, there's plenty of states right now in the United States that are implementing similar age verification checks to the UK, which is really annoying because why are we just blindly following the UK and everything that they do? And another unfortunate thing, this list isn't even properly updated. There is now more states that are having age verification than the ones listed here. But anyways, we already knew that UK's age verification was failing because there was a ton of VPNs that were actually getting way more popular since the UK's age verification checks went through. Are there going to be people who blindly comply and just hand over an ID? Sure. But most people, including the people watching this video, I'm sure do not want to hand over an ID to all these social media websites, especially when they have such a high chance of getting hacked. And not only that, a lot of these unregulated websites, like for example, the unregulated adult websites, have content, as we just discussed, that could be actually way more harmful for kids than the content that they would see on the regular hub. Well, that was the exact point that YouTube had made to Australia as well, when they said, listen, We have regulations on our website that are meant to protect kids. If you guys force people to provide age verification just to use the website, we're not going to be allowed to protect the kids from the bad content that they could see on YouTube. Again, I don't agree with YouTube on a lot of things. My entire channel is proof of that, but I actually think that they made a great point here. Even though YouTube isn't the best at protecting kids and there is a lot of bad content on YouTube still, at least it would be better than if you just use YouTube logged out. It would be like the Wild West. You would be able to see way worse content on YouTube as a kid if you are logged out from the website as opposed to logged in with restricted mode on and stuff. And another point that we make all the time that the hub ended up making too is the chance of identity theft, is the chance of hacking. And one of the biggest hacks that has happened in the age verification era was the whole Discord hack. Well, there's actually a lot of details that kind of came out about the Discord hack that I actually wasn't aware of. That was actually explained by this guy in this video over here. We're going to go ahead and watch it together. He does a very good job explaining this. Shout out to him. But he goes into details just how bad the Discord hack actually was.
Something happened recently which you might have missed because honestly from the outside it seems kind of small and technical. But I think it could be actually really important because it's a test. It's a test for the new era of the internet. So let me try and explain the first hack of the age verification era. So what happened is that Discord, which is a chat app, big, about 200 million users worldwide, reported that its age verification system had been hacked. Now, as you probably know, lots of governments are requiring that companies put in age checks on their sites if they host or link to any unsuitable or pornographic material. Discord did this. And what was hacked wasn't the age verification system itself. For that, you would send in a picture of yourself, and then a third-party provider used by Discord would use their software to basically guess your age. What was hacked was the appeals process. Because if you thought that this system had got your age wrong, you could send in a picture of your government ID, your driving license or your passport, and a collection of these was hacked. And now, according to Discord, there are around 70,000 pictures of government IDs floating around on the dark web in the hands of hackers, which is bad. But unfortunately, hacks happen all the time. And the reason I think this one is significant is because it's a test. Can governments actually police the internet and put in place the kind of barriers that you might get in the physical world? Or is this system going to collapse under its own weight? Because the things that we do to make us safe actually make us less secure online.
I agree with pretty much everything he said. And in terms of the Discord hack only getting 70,000 IDs leaked, I actually think that it was a lot more than that, but I think that Discord doesn't want to disclose that because it's going to make them look even worse. I actually think that there's way more than 70,000 IDs out there. But you guys understand the point. The point is that age verification in the UK is not working, and they keep trying to do this whole thing, oh, it's for the kids, when in reality, people are just circumventing the law anyways, going to other more dangerous websites. A lot of the people that are going to those websites aren't just adults, they're kids as well. And they're going to be likely to be exposed to way more harmful content than they would be on the hub. Now, even with that argument, I'm sure a lot of you guys can say, kids shouldn't be seeing those types of adult videos anyways, regardless of how safe they are. Fair enough. I then refer you to YouTube's point about the type of content that they could be seeing on YouTube. Remember that a lot of these countries and states and whatever are trying to have age verification to the level of every single social media now. Well, YouTube would actually be able to keep kids way more safe if they were logged into an account with parental controls and restrictions as opposed to logged out. So either way, when you spin it, this is a law that is actually not protecting kids. It's actually making it a lot more dangerous for them to use the websites, and their IDs will be floating around on the internet if they decide to submit them. And Ofcom, the people who are regulating the UK laws in general, they've made their intentions very clear by trying to repeatedly fine countries and states that aren't even in the UK with the whole age verification law thing. They try to go after 4chan. They're trying to go after all these other companies as well. And this is about money to them. Explain to me how finding a website £1 million is going to be protecting the kids. Is that an incentive for them to make age verification checks? Well, what are you going to be doing with the money then, Ofcom? Are you going to be keeping it? Are you going to be donating it to charity? Are you going to be donating it to like kids who are in need or in trouble or something like that? I can pretty much guarantee you the answer to that will be no. I'm pretty sure they're going to be pocketing that money and keeping it for themselves. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. It seems like UK age verification is failing. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.